Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vacharam pangam langyate yat kripatamam vande Paramanandam. Mukham karoti vacharam. So thank you again for joining. So I asked for a 90-minute class today because I think um, we just have enough verses to finish them in 90 minutes. And that way we can also, we had initially kind of hope to end it by the end of the calendar year. So I'm hoping that we'll also be able to meet that. If not, then we can meet. Wednesday is December 31st, and I think Wednesday evening all of you will be in the temple. If you're not able to complete, we'll do next Monday. But like I said, most of the verses are without significant purports. Saran Prabhu, would you be able to do the Sanskrit and translation? This is from chapter 18, verse 52.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Text 52. Dhotavasa suchir nityam sarvamangalam samyukta pujeyat pratas ratsat prag gho vipram sinyam achyutam. Translation. Putting on washed clothes, being always pure and being adorned with turmeric, sandalwood pulp, and other auspicious items. Before breakfast, one should worship the cow, the Brahmana, the goddess of fortune, and the supreme personality of Godhead.
So, just quick recap. This is the process of the Pumsha Vrat that is being given to Diti by her husband Kashyap. So previously the verses were all about injunctions. The 5 about food, the 7 about conduct, and then the 8 about sleeping. Now these are injunctions, what she should do. Earlier on, what she should not do. So Prabhupada notes that essentially it begins with Go Brahmanaya Hetaya shall grow. So worship of a cow, worship of Brahmins, worship of Lord Vishnu, and Lakshmi Devi. And Prabhupada also notes how in a Vedic civilization, cows are worshipped, and in a demoniac civilization, the cows are slaughtered. Okay, next verse.
Text 53. Isriyo Shivarasti Charet Shraghanda Bhali Mandhanai Patim Charit Sripatishteta Rashyad Kasto Ghatam Chatam. Translation. With flower garland, sandalwood bulbs, ornaments, and other paraphernalia, a woman following with this vow should worship woman who has son and whose husband are living. The pregnant wife should worship her husband and offer him prayers. She should meditate upon him, thinking that he is situated in her womb.
So the first part of worshipping women whose husband and sons are living is essentially women worshipping women who have good fortune, because under the Vedic understanding, a married woman and a married woman with son is considered to be has performed pious activities. So by their blessings, they can also impart the same good fortune to the supplicant. The second part, the Prabhupada mentions that the child, even though it grows in the womb of the wife, it is actually an expansion of the husband. So the wife should meditate upon the husband as within her own womb. Next verse.
54. Samvas saram pushpasanam vastram etat avipopratam Dharsayisyasi set bhutyam sakraham bhavati sutaha. Translation. Kashyapa Muni continued, if you perform this ceremony called Pushpasavana, adhering to the vow with faith for at least 1 year, you will give birth to a son, destined to kill Indra. But if there is any discrepancy in the discharge of this vow, the son will be a friend to Indra. Sorry.
So Kashyap is kind of giving up a heads up, and this is actually what happens. That if the vow is discharged properly, then Didi will get what she wants, which is a son who is Indra. And if there's a discrepancy, then Indraha. So Indraha is a killer of Indra, Indraha is a friend of Indra. So this particular vrata, so it has said Samvatsaran Pumshavanam. So literally Pumshavan means Pumsha Avan, right? So Pumsha means male and Avan means getting. So Pumshavan means performing a vrata to get a male child. Um, uh, Also, it is also performed for getting a healthy child, not necessarily a male child. Pumsha also means healthy, so it also means getting a healthy child. It is described in further details in the Graha Sutras. So these are specific sutras meant for grahasthas, like the Ashvalayans, the Paraskar, etc. And actually, it can be done either by the husband or the wife, not necessarily to be done by the husband also, only by the wife only. And traditionally, it is done after pregnancy. Like in case of Diti, it's a little different, but traditionally, it is done in the third or the fourth month of the pregnancy, with the desire of either getting a male child or a healthy child. Next verse.
Text 55. Bhadam iti abhyutpeyatah tah titi rajan mahamanaha kashapat garbham adhata vartam chanyo dhadara saha. O King Parikshit, Diti, the wife of Kashyap, agreed to undergo the purificatory process known as Pumsavana. Yes, she said, I shall do everything according to your instruction. With great jubilation, she became pregnant, having taken semen from Kashyap, and faithfully began the discharging of the vow.
So 10 verses from 55 to 64 will describe the birth of the Maruts. Next verse.
Text 56. Marit service Soshu Abhiprayam Indra Ajaya Mandana Susresana Asrama Istam Dhitim Priya Charat Kavihi. O King, who are respectful to everyone, Indra understood Diti's purpose, and thus he contrived to fulfill his own interests. Following the logic that self-preservation is the first law of nature, he wanted to break Diti's promise. Thus, he engaged himself in the service of Diti, his aunt, who was residing in an ashram.
So this is known as the minimum rational premise, which basically states that at all points one must act to prefer living over death. And essentially talking about self-preservation. Uh, so this is in the scripture also that in order to execute the Chatur Purushas of Dharma, Kam, and Moksha, one needs a body, which means that self-preservation is the root of all, all of it. So Indra is following that logic of self-preservation, that under all circumstances, I must preserve myself. So he he engages himself in the service of Diti, who's Matra Swasuhu. So Matra Swasu is mother sister. So Aditi is the elder sister of Diti. Now they're both daughters of Daksha, and they always had rivalry between them. So the daughters of Daksha, maybe they had to some extent they had Daksha's mentality. They had a lot of sibling rivalry. We see there's rivalry between Kadru and Vanita, yeah, which basically between the snakes and the birds, the mother of Garuda and the mother of Suki and the snakes. And we see similarly this rivalry between Aditi and Titi. Okay, next verse.
Text 57. Nityam varnat samunasah palam mulam samit kusam patra patram karu mridro paschap kale kala uparadhrat. Translation. Indra served his aunt daily by bringing flowers, fruits, roots, and wood for yagnas from the forest. He also brought kusha grass, leaf, sprout, earth, and water exactly at the proper time.
So one of the questions over here is that why did Diti accept service from Indra, given that she was planning to kill Indra? So at two levels, it doesn't make sense. One is that she obviously had a lot of animosity towards Indra, right? And the second is it's quite clear why Indra was there, that she was performing a vow. Kashyap Muni had said that if there's a discrepancy in the vow, your sons will be favorable to Indra, and lo and behold, Indra is there serving her, right? So the acharyas don't really comment on it. The only thing that can be imputed that will should be shown later on is the purifying effect of the process. That when Diti was performing this process, because it's centered around the worship of Lord Vishnu, it takes away the sense of envy and hatred. So Diti's natural position as being mother of Indra became more dominant. And later on, we'll see that she actually will address him as son with lot of affection. But it's not explicitly given by either Srila Prabhupada or Chakravarti Pad. Next verse.
58. Evam tasya vrata isthriya vrata chindram hari nipra preshu prayachajat jinumo mriga heva mriga kritihi. O king, Parikshit, as a hunter of a deer become like a deer by covering his body with deer skin and serving the deer. So Indra, although at heart the enemy of the son of Diti, became outwardly friendly and served Diti in a faithful way. Indra's purpose was to cheat Diti as soon as he could find some fault in the way she discharged the vow of the ritualistic ceremony. However, he wanted to be undetected and therefore he served her very carefully.
So this was Indra's motive, and not he was not very circumspect about it. That he was waiting for some fault to happen and then take advantage of it. In a way, the fault does happen. So three of the injunctions that Kashyap had told Diti, she will break it. But Srila Prabhupada notes that in a way there is no fault that happens. That because at the end her sons are, even though they don't kill Indra, but she's actually in a better situation. So this is the glory of bhakti, that it does not always satisfy your wants, but it definitely satisfy your needs. Like Diti wanted to kill Indra, but her need was to experience happiness, peace, and relief, and that's what the result was. Prabhupada quotes different verses from Skanda Puran that by remembering the Supreme Lord, everything becomes perfect. Then in the eighth canto, it is noted that there may be many discrepancies in pronouncing the mantras, observing the regulative principles, and regard to Kal, Desh, and Patra. But when the Lordship's holy name is chanted, everything becomes faultless. Okay, next verse.
59. Nagyat kachat vrata chidram tatparo tat mahipate chitam vritam gata sakha kena madyat chidam twap iha. Translation. O Master of the entire world, when Indra could find no fault, he thought, how will there be good fortune for me? Thus he was full of deep anxiety.
So in the Bhagavad Gita, Sanjay addresses Krishna as the master of mystics, which means that he achieves in mystical ways. Now, Diti, she was worshipping the Lord through the Pumshavan Vata to kill Indra. Now, even though Indra is not physically killed, he is dying every moment. So, through the year that he was serving Diti, every moment he was dying from anxiety that there are no falls, undoubtedly she will kill me. And then you look at it from Indra's perspective, the king of the demigods, and he's rendering menial service to a woman who is uh, committed to killing him. So, can you imagine the amount of pride that he was crushing inside him in order to do this? So, in a way, when Diti said she wanted Indra to be killed, Krishna granted her that also. Right? Just like he asked Arjun that you have to satisfy Bhima in killing Ashwathama, and you have to satisfy Draupadi and Yudhishthir in not killing. So Arjun, he kills and not kills Ashwathama. He cuts off his hair and the money and he lets him go. So similarly, through this, Krishna is killing and not killing Indra. Every moment Indra is dying out of shame and anxiety, right? But yet he is not dying. Next verse.
60. Text 60. Ekada satu samdhyayam utishta vrata karshita aprashtita vari udho discreet shushvapi vidhi mohita. Having grown weak and thin because of strictly following the principle of the vow, Diti once unfortunately neglected to wash her mouth, hand and feet after eating and went to sleep during the evening twilight.
So in the verse 51, Kashyap Muni had given 8 prohibitions to Diti regarding sleeping, and she breaks 3 of them. So he said that you should not lie down without having washed both of your feet. So here it is said that she neglected washing her hands and feet. Then he had said that um, do not sleep without performing, without being purified. And we see that she does not perform Achman, does not wash her mouth, does not perform Achman. And then he said, do not sleep before the sunrise or the sunset. And we see that here she sleeps during the evening twilight, which is uh, uh, sorry, the injunction was do not sleep during sunrise or sunset, which means at the Sandhya Kal, and she actually sleeps during twilight. So three of the injunctions for the Pumshavan vow are broken over here. Next verse.
Text 61. Ladva tat antaram sakro nidra prahita setashaha dhite pravishta udharam yogesho yoga mayaya. Translation. Finding this whole Indra, who has all the mystic power, the yoga siddhis such as Anima and Lagima, entered Diti's womb while she was unconscious, being fast asleep.
Next verse.
62. Kachatra Satpada Garbam Vajendra Kanaka Prabham Rudhantam Saptadhaik Kaitam Marudhir Ititam Punaha. Translation. After entering Diti's womb, Indra, with the help of his thunderbolt, cut into 7 pieces an embryo, which appear like glowing gold. In 7 places, 7 different living beings began crying. Indra told them, "Do not cry." Then he cut each of them into 7 pieces again.
So Indra says Ma Rudha. So Rudha means crying, Ma means do not. So he says Ma Rudha, and that's how they got the name Maruts. And Prabhupada notes that Chakravarti Pad says that it's not that one soul got divided into 49 because we know Nanam Chintati Shastrani that the soul cannot be divided. But Chakravarti Pad says that as the embryo was cut into more and more pieces, more and more jivas entered into those pieces. So at the end, there were 49 individual jivas that were occupying this 49 pieces. Next verse.
Text 63. Tam usho pratimas manaste sarva prajanlayo nipa kimna indra jigaham sasi brataro marutastava. Translation. O king, being very much aggrieved, they pleaded to Indra with folded hands, saying, "Dear Indra, we are the Marut, your brothers. Why are you trying to kill us?"
Next verse.
64. Ma bheshtat brutaro mayam yogam iti aha koshikaha anasya bhavam parasadham atmano marutam ganam. Translation. When Indra saw that actually they were his devoted follower, he said to them, "If you are all my brothers, you have nothing more to fear from me."
Next verse.
65. Na mararadhite garbha srinis vasa kukampaya bahuda bahudha kalisha krumsno dhruni astrena yata bhavam. Translation. Sukadev Goswami said, "My dear King Parikshit, you were burned by the Brahmastra Avashtama. But when Lord Krishna entered the womb of your mother, you were saved. Similarly, although the one embryo was cut into 49 pieces by the thunderbolt of Indra, They were all saved by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So same thing, like Parikshit Maharaj was saved by the mercy of the Lord, and the Marus were saved by the mercy of the Lord's devotional service. Right? There's no difference between the Lord and his devotional service. It's interesting to note here that Sukdev Goswami says that you were burned by the Brahmastra of Ashwakama. Right? So there are actually two interpretations of this pastime. In the earlier part of the Bhagavatam, the first canto, it is mentioned that the Lord covered the embryo with his energy. So the Brahmastra became ineffective. And here it is mentioned that he was burned. In some of the Puranas, it is actually mentioned that he was given a new body. That the child in the womb was burned by the Brahmastra, and by the Lord's potency, he asked the soul to stay, and then gave him a new body. The other is the pastime that we typically hear is that the Lord covered Parikshit by his energy so that he was not impacted by the heat of the Brahmastra. So in three verses, 65, 66, and 67, Sukdev Goswami glorifies bhakti in this context. Next two verses.
66 and 67. Shakrit Ishvati Purusham Purusho Yati Samyatam Samvatsaram Kinchit Unam Dhitya Yadhari Arstitaha Sajo Indrena Panchasad Devate Maruto Bhavam Vyapoya Mrithi Dosham Te Harinam Soma Patkritaha. If, translation, if one worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original person, even once, he received the benefit of being promoted to the spiritual world and possessing the same bodily features as Vishnu. Diti worshipped Lord Vishnu for almost 1 year, adhering to a great vow. Because of such strength in spiritual life, the 49 Marut were born. How? Then it is wonderful that the Marut, although born from the womb of Diti, became equal to the demigod by the mercy of the Supreme Lord.
So this is the first stuti, that by bhakti, everything is possible. Diti went into it with a tamasic mentality of wanting a child that killed Indra, right? And the outcome would have been battle between the sun and Indra, one of them being killed. So even though the bhakti was tamasic, but nevertheless, because it was bhakti, it became sattvic. So everything turned out okay. Diti was happy that uh, uh, her children were not killed by Indra. Indra received the punishment that Diti wanted him to receive. Indra also got what he wanted. He didn't want to be killed, so he was not killed. The children uh, acquired an exalted position of being associates with Indra. Kashyap was happy that even though he, in a moment of weakness, had given this benediction to Diti, but the outcome was good. So that's the beauty of bhakti. Now, whether it is so here it is tamasic, and this is the outcome. So how much more so if it was pure devotional service? And one can get you can only estimate the potency of such bhakti. Yeah, next verse.
Text 68. Dhirti uchate dharshte kumaram analam prabham Indrena Sahitam Devi Parsyat Tasyat Anindita. Translation. Because of worshipping the Supreme Center of Godhead, Diti was completely purified. When she got up from bed, she saw her 49 sons along with Indra. These 49 sons were all as brilliant as fire and were in friendship with Indra, and therefore she was very pleased.
So why was she pleased when she saw that her sons were in friendship with Indra? Because she wanted sons who were envious of Indra, right? So the reason to that is given that Diti was completely purified. And so the envy in her that she wanted to pass on to her sons completely went away. So in the next 10 verses, which are the last 10 verses of the chapter, there is an honest discussion between Diti and Indra. Next verse.
Text 68, 69, sorry. Atam dhram aham tataham adityanam bhavayam aham apayam achityam acharam vatram eha sudas kratam. Therefore, translation. Thereafter, Diti said to Indra, my dear son, I adhere to this difficult vow just to get a son to kill you 12 Adityas.
So, Srila Prabhupada, in the translation notes, kill you 12 Adityas. Diti's original premise was to only kill Indra. Right, and Vishwanath Chakravarti translates this verse as saying that to get a son of whom the 12 Adityas, who would be feared by the 12 Adityas. And so it says, Bhaya Avritam, Bhaya Avaham, that I wanted a son that would be feared by you 12 Adityas. To some extent, it's just poetic license that Diti, perhaps with Indra in front of her, did not want to speak in the manner that I wanted a son to kill you. So she says, Bhaya Avaham, that I just wanted a son who would be feared so it is Aditya Nam Bhaya Avaham, who would be feared by the Adityas. Next verse.
Text 70. Ekah sankalpitah putrah sapta bhavam katham yadite viditam putra satyam kataya marmitsa. Translation. I pray for only one son, but now I see sorry, I start again. I pray for only one son, but now I see that there are 49. How has this happened? My dear son Indra, if you know, please tell me the truth. Do not try to speak lie.
So we see Diti's mood towards Indra has changed. Right. So she addresses him as Putra, as my son. Right. And she also is speaking in a very motherly way. Right. Satyam Kathaya Mam Rasha. Like tell the truth, don't tell lies. The mothers will admonish their sons that did you do this mischief? Tell the truth, don't tell lies, right? So that Vatsalya Bhav has become very strong in Aditi, and the corresponding bhav of being a child has also become strong in Indra. Now, during Vedic times, and even to some extent now, the status of a mother would increase by the number of children that she had, specifically sons. Right? So Diti is happy that instead of one son, she has now 49 sons. and not just ordinary suns, but these are suns who are refulgent as fire, right? So she is asking Indra what exactly happened, because while Indra was in her room doing what he was doing, she was actually unconscious, or as Prabhupada writes, unaware, because she was deep in sleep. Next verse.
Text 71. Indra uvacha ambate vyavasitam upandra yagato niktam ladhantaro chidam garbham artha bhurdirna dharmadrik. Translation. Indra replied, My dear mother, because I was grossly blinded by selfish interests, I lost sight of religion. When I understood that you were observing a great vow in spiritual life, I wanted to find some fault in you. When I found such a fault, I entered your womb and cut the embryo to pieces.
So we see this. So in the previous verse, Diti had addressed Indra as Putra, and here Indra addresses Diti as Amba, right? So mother. So we said that mood is there in both. Prabhupada also notes that the nature of honesty is that it almost forces the other person to be honest. So when Diti, she openly accepted the fact that she was looking to get a son who would create disturbance amongst the Adityas. Now Indra is also speaking honestly, that I was blinded by self-interest, I lost sight of religion, and waiting for you to make a mistake, I entered your womb and cut your womb into pieces. Next verse.
Text 72. Krito me saptada garbha asan sapta kuma karat tepi chaikadu so riknaha saptadha napi marmire. Translation. First, I cut the child into the womb into 7 pieces, which becomes 7 child. Then I cut each of the children into 7 pieces again. By the grace of the Supreme Lord, however, none of them died.
Next verse.
Text 73. Tastat tat paramascharyam vikshe yat sahitam maya Mahapurusho Pujaya Siddhi Kapi Anusangini. Translation. My dear mother, when I saw that all the 49 sons were alive, I was certainly struck with wonder. I decided that this was a secondary result of your having regular executed devotional service in worship of Lord Vishnu.
So Indra, being a devotee himself, also recognizes the glories of bhakti, right? So he says Anusangini. So Anu means that follows, and Sangini means in association with. Anusangini of what? Mahapurusha Pujaya, the worship of Lord Vishnu, or the process of devotional service, right? Now, if this is the secondary result, then what is the primary result, right? So, Prabhupada explains the primary result is bhakti. That when performing devotional service, one attains love of Godhead, one develops pure devotional service, desire to execute pure devotional service. Then Anusangini, the secondary result is that there is all auspiciousness. So Indra is recognizing both of it. That by the process that she followed, she obviously made advancements in her devotional service, and as a secondary result, her 49 sons were alive and glorious. Next.
Text 74. Aradhanam Bhagavata Tamana Nirasisaha Yetu Nigachanti Api Param Te Sarvata Kurushaha Ismitaha. Although those who are interested only in worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead do not desire anything material from the Lord and do not even want liberation, Lord Krishna fulfill all their desires.
So this is one of the key lessons from this pastime, right? So we discussed about how tamas, even bhakti that is tamasic, becomes glorious. The other key lesson is that when one makes advancement in devotional service, then one transcends the need for any material things. But even though the devotees may not desire, Krishna fulfills all their desires. Right? So, how can Krishna fulfill a desire that the devotee does not desire? So, this is talking about devotional service and practice. Right? The akam sarvakam ava moksha kamodari. Right? So, if the person is akam, then fine. Krishna just keeps giving him bhakti. Right? But even if the person is sarvakam or mokshakam, or or if this person is mishrakam, then Krishna fulfills their material desires. Okay, next verse.
Text 75. Aradhyatma param devam swamanam jagat ishvaram kovrinita guna sparsam buddhahasham narake pihat. Translation. The ultimate goal of all ambition is to become a servant of the Supreme Son of Godhead. If an intelligent man serve the most dear Lord, who gave himself to his devotees, how can he desire material happiness, which is available even in hell?
So one may question over here that Indra had with so much of cunning, he had tried to serve Diti so that he can find a mistake and then save his own life. And now he is condemning the person who has a materialistic mentality, right? He says that one should only aspire to become a servant of the personality of Godhead. Right? Now, it does not mean that Indra is hypocritical, right? Because Indra is an exalted devotee. In the scripture that is written that at the end of his life, Indra goes back to Godhead. So obviously, he's a very exalted devotee. Um, Indra was in this particular pastime, as it is mentioned earlier on, that he was only driven by self-preservation. So if you look at the definition of pure devotional service, it's anabhilashita shunyam. So it does not say anabhilasha shunyam. So it says anabhilashita shunyam, which is translated as desirelessness. So one should be devoid of explicit desires for material enjoyment. But intrinsic desires, like that of self preservations, do not cover pure devotional service. So, if a pure devotee is walking down the street and a mad elephant is coming on the other side, then the pure devotee should not think that, oh, I'm advanced devotee, I should not care about saving my life. It's a material desire and it will impinge on bhakti. He will step aside. And so just the desire for self-preservation, the desire to eat food. So even devotees like Rupa Sanatan, they were eating. Now they were eating very, very less, but nevertheless they were eating just to maintain their life. So that was Indra's position over here. So his glorification is genuine over here because He has experienced the glories of devotional service firsthand himself. Next verse.
Text 76. Tat idam mama darshanyam bhalisya mahi yasi quantum ahasi matastvam dhishtya gharbo mithyo titaha. Translation. O my, O my mother, O best of all women, I'm a fool. Kindly excuse me for whatever offenses I have committed. Your 49 sons have been born unhurt because of your devotional service. As an enemy, I cut them into pieces, but because of your great devotional service, they did not die.
So, very, very sweet words from Indra. He affectionately addresses Diti as Mata, as mother. He says that you are a great. He says you're a Mahiyashi. Mahiyashi means the best of woman, right? So he's glorifying Diti, and he's also condemning himself, right? He says that Dorjanyam, that I am the performer of sinful activities. Then Balishasya, that I am a fool, right? And then ultimately what he's saying, Kshantamarasi, Matasto, that please forgive me. So genuine, in a genuine way, Indra is condemning himself, glorifying his aunt or mother, and begging for forgiveness. Right. So we see how everything has become so congenial now. The same Diti who was looking to kill Indra, the same Indra who was looking to somehow find fault in Diti. Now all of them are so behaving in such a warm and affectionate way because of the influence of bhakti. And Indra recognizes that. He said, "This is all because of your devotional service." Next verse.
Text 77. Shri Sukha Uvacha Indra Tayabhyam Manu Jantaha Sudha Bhavena Tashtaya Marubhihi Sahatam Nadva Jagma Divyam Prabhu. Translation. Sri Shuka Goswami continued. Diti was extremely satisfied by Indra's good behaviors. Then Indra offered his respect to his aunt with profuse obeisances, and with her permission, he went away to the heavenly planet with his brothers the Marut.
Next verse.
Text 78. Evam tve sarva akyatam yanmam tvam parichatsasi mangalam marutam janma kim bhuya katyami te. Translation. My dear King Parikshit, I have replied as far as possible to the question you have asked me, especially in regard to this pure auspicious narration about the Marut. Now, you may inquire further. I shall explain more.
So if you remember, this was a bit of a detour that Sukdev Goswami was giving the descendants of Daksha, and then he talked about the Maruts, and Pishmara stopped him, saying, "Tell me more about the Maruts." So he tells him more. Now he says, "What else do you want to hear?" So in the sixth canto, there are two pastimes that are given, one of Maharaj Chitraketu and the other of Devi Diti. Both are based on conflict and misunderstanding between devotees. In the case of Chitraketu, it was between him and Mother Parvati. In the case of Diti, it was between her and Indra. Both of them ended well. Chitraketu goes back to Godhead, and in the case of Diti, not only Indra was not killed, but she had 49 sons who became devas. Right? So that's the nature of bhakti. That's the lesson that is given, that wherever and whenever there is the Lord present, regardless of what the genesis is, the ending is always favorable. Whether it is a misunderstanding, a fault, whether it is anger, whether it is envy, but the nature of bhakti is so potent that it purifies everything. And in the sixth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that um, uh, uh, my my friend is never overcome. It says that one who does, Krishna says to Arjun, one who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. And good in this case is one who executes devotional service. So that ends the 18th chapter. We'll pause to see if there's any discussion.
The only thing is, even Indra did all these mischievous things, it came out to be good for both parties, even Indra, even for Aditi. Bad intention in both places,
Yeah,
but that turned out to be good just
yeah,
by
yeah, 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 for everyone, and not just for Indra, but for Chitraketu and for Diti. So anybody who is touching bhakti, directly or indirectly, it is Subhada, all auspiciousness coming out. Okay. If not, then we'll no more questions. We'll go to the next chapter. So this is a small chapter with 28 verses, and it gives the title of the chapter is performing the Pumshavan ritualistic ceremony. So it is mostly the rules for performing the ceremony, 24 verses, and the last four verses are the Falstuti. So Sarang Prabhu, we can just do the translations here. We don't have to do. Some of them are long. They're like I said, they're mostly description of processes. We will just do the translations.
Okay. Text 1. Maharaj Parikshit said, "My dear Lord, you have already spoken about the Purusarvana vow. Now I want to hear about in detail, for I understand that by observing this vow, one can please the Supreme Lord Vishnu."
So one of the questions over here is that why is Maharaj Parishad interested in the Pumshavan Vrata? The acharyas say that he has 7 days to live, and the sixth canto represents the third day. So essentially, yes, so the 10th canto is considered to be the midway point, 3.5 days done. So he has 4 days, right? Definitely less than 1 year. And the vrata takes 1 year. So it's mentioned that that's the nature of a devotee, that everything to do with the Lord is enjoyable by them, right? So he is eager to hear what is pleasing to the Lord, and in that mode, he is asking for it. Okay. Next two verses.
Text 2 and 3. Sukadev Goswami said, on the first day of the bright fortnight of the month of Agrayana, November, December, following the instruction of her husband, a woman should begin this relative devotional service with a vow of penance, for it can fulfill all one's desire. Before beginning the worship of Lord Vishnu, the woman should hear the story of how the Marut were born. Under the instruction of qualified Brahmana, in the morning she should wash her teeth, bathe, and dress herself with, with white clothes and ornament. And before taking breakfast, she should worship Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi.
So these are the details. Most of the Vedic rituals, they follow a very similar flow, that they begin with a sankalpa, with a vow or a determination for penance. The second is to take inspiration from those who performed this. And so that's why it said that listen to this pastime of the Maruts. And then the third, of course, is actually following the process under the guidance of senior Vaishnavas. Next verse.
Text 4. She should then pray to the Lord as follows. My dear Lord, you are full in all opulences, but I do not beg. You are you for the opulence. I simply offer my reciprocal obeisances unto you. You are the husband and the master of Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, who has the all opulences. Therefore, you are the master of all mystic yoga. I simply offer my obeisances unto you.
So this is an important consciousness in performing these vows, that there is nothing that we can offer to the Lord which he does not have. And he's the master of all the opulences, master of all the mystics, master of all kinds of austerities. So these are all angas, supporting angas, right? So ultimately it says that I simply offer my obeisances to you. Now, one might say that let me then not even do the other part of it, right? Now, that would also be acceptable if one is genuinely at a stage where they simply engage the Lord by offering their obeisances to Him. Factually speaking, these processes, they are purifying the material consciousness. They may not necessarily attract the mercy of the Lord, but they purify our consciousness when we offer it to the Lord, and that attracts the mercy of the Lord. As Prabhupada says, there is no need to artificially exert oneself. It is better to be plain and simple and with respectful obeisances, offer the Lord whatever one can secure. The Lord is completely able to bless the devotee with all opulences. Okay, next verse.
Text 5. O my Lord, because you are endowed with causeless mercy, all opulences, all prowess, all glories, strength, and transcendental qualities, you are the supreme personality of Godhead, the master of everyone.
So the same point from the previous verse is expanded over here. Prabhupada explains this as causeless mercy. That uh, uh, even though the Lord is self-sufficient, then out of causeless mercy, he still depends on his devotees. And sometimes when the parents and children play, the parents don't need anything from the children, but then they pretend. The children push them and they pretend to fall down, and the child comes and then picks him up, or then the parent shows the hand to the child, help me, pick me up, and the child comes and picks the parents up, and the parents are happy, the children are happy. So that is the rasa that the Lord is looking at. It does not make the Lord incomplete, right? So the important aspect of his self-sufficiency is that he is dependent on his devotees, right? So it's like in the 13th chapter, Krishna, when he shows the universal's form, he to Arjuna, he says, I've killed them all. You just become my instrument, right? So the Lord is fully self-sufficient, but the sweetness of bhakti is that he enjoys being dependent on his devotees. Next verse.
Text 6. After profusely offering obeisances unto Lord Vishnu, the devotee should offer respectful obeisances unto Mother Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, and pray as follows. O wife of Lord Vishnu, O internal energy of Lord Vishnu, you are as good as Lord Vishnu himself, for you have all of his qualities and opulences. O goddess of fortune, please be kind upon me, to me. O mother of the entire world, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you.
So after offering obeisances to Lord Vishnu, one offers obeisances to Lakshmi Devi, right? So even in the temple, when we offer obeisances to the deities, we offer to Krishna and then to Radharani. So Lakshmi Devi is not different from Lord Vishnu, and um, as an affectionate husband, is very favorable to his wife. Like the Vraj Bhav is that approaching Krishna is difficult, but but mother is always affectionate to the children, and the husband is always affectionate to the wife. So that channel is always preferable, right? So Prabhupada notes that the worship of Lakshmi Devi should always be accompanied by the worship of Lord Vishnu. He says that one cannot keep Lakshmi in one's home without Lord Vishnu. So what is Lakshmi Devi without Lord Vishnu? She is Durga Devi. And then she becomes the illusory energy of Krishna. And then instead of giving auspiciousness, she begins to give inauspiciousness. Next verse.
Text 7. My Lord Vishnu, full in 6 opulences, you are the best of all enjoyer and the most powerful. O husband of Mother Lakshmi, I offer my obeisances unto you, who are accompanied by many associates, such as Vishasena. I offer all the paraphernalia for worshipping you. One should chant this mantra every day with great attention while worshipping Lord Vishnu with all paraphernalia, such as water for washing his feet, hand and mouth, and water for his bath. One must offer him various presentation for his worship, such as garment, a sacred thread, ornament, scent, flowers, incense, and lamps.
So Prabhupada writes that this mantra is very important. Anyone engaged in deity worship should chant this mantra as quoted above, beginning with Om Namo Bhagavate Maha Purushaya. So I'm not sure if this is followed in ISKCON. I never chanted this mantra, but it's not there as part of the Pujari handbook. But deity worship is very, very elaborate. So in more elaborate deity worship, I'm sure this mantra appears as a preparation to do deity worship. Next verse.
Text 8. Sukadev Goswami continue. After worshipping the Lord with all the paraphernalia mentioned above, one should chant the following mantra while offering 12 oblation of ghee on the sacred fire. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahapurushaya Mahavibhurti Prayate Swaha.
Next verse.
If one desire all opulences, his duty is to daily worship Lord Vishnu with his wife, Lakshmi. With great devotion, one should worship him according to the above mentioned process. Lord Vishnu and the goddess of fortune are an immensely powerful combination. They are the bestower of all benediction and the sources of all good fortune. Therefore, the duty of everyone is to worship Lakshmi Narayan.
So the combination of Lakshmi and Narayan is very potent, right? So as I mentioned, when Lord Vishnu is by himself, he's very strict, but when he comes with his wife, then he's in a jolly mood at the time. So that's the basis of Vaishnava theology, that the energy and the energetic, they are worshipped at the same time. Prabhupada also he mentions that Lord Vishnu is the source of all the opulences in Lakshmi Devi. So this whole notion of Daridra Narayan is unscientific, right? So Daridra Narayan was the term that was coined by Swami Vivekananda, and then later on it was popularized by Mahatma Gandhi to indicate that Daridra Narayan, that poor people are like Lord Vishnu, and Srila Prabhupada often would comment on it, that why poor people, why not rich people? You know, he's the husband of the goddess of fortune. So Prabhupada makes the same point over here. Next verse.
Text 10. One should offer obeisances unto the Lord with a mind humble through devotion, while offering dandavat by falling on the ground like a rod. One should chant the above mantra 10 times. Then one should chant the following prayers.
Next verse.
My Lord Vishnu and Mother Lakshmi, goddess of fortune, you are the proprietor of the entire creation. Indeed, you are the cause of the creation. Mother Lakshmi is extremely difficult to understand because she is so powerful that the jurisdiction of her powers is difficult to overcome. Mother Lakshmi is represented in the material world as external energy, but actually she is always the internal energy of the Lord.
So this is an important verse because it talks about the non-difference between Lakshmi Devi and Durga Devi, right? So uh, it says that Mother Lakshmi is represented in the material world as external energy, but actually she's always the internal energy of the Lord, right? So uh, uh, the nature of the difference between the internal and the external energy is the difference between the jiva that is favorable to the Lord and one who is not. Right. So it's not so much the energy, but it's so much the mentality of the jiva. How does the Lord relate to the Lord? And the energy of the Lord reciprocates accordingly. But the energy is the same. Next verse.
Text 12. My Lord, you are the master of energy, and therefore you are the supreme person. You are sacrifices, yagna, personified. Lakshmi, the embodiment of the spiritual activities, is the original form of worship offered unto you, whereas you are the enjoyer of all sacrifices.
Next verse.
Text 13. Mother Lakshmi, who is here, is a reservoir of all spiritual qualities, whereas you manifest and enjoy all these qualities. Indeed, you are actually the enjoyer of everything. You live as a super soul of all living entities, and the goddess of fortune is the form of the bodies, senses, and mind. She has she also has a holy name and form, whereas you are the support of all such name and form and the cause of their manifestation.
So all these verses are glorifying Mother Lakshmi, and especially in a relationship to Lord Vishnu. Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he brings forth a little bit of a technical point of the the position of Lakshmi Devi. So according to the Madhava Sampradaya, Lakshmi Devi is a jiva because they strongly believe in the Dvaita, that there is only one supreme being, that is Lord Vishnu. Everybody else is jiva. So they consider Lakshmi to be jiva tattva. However, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they consider Lakshmi Devi to be Vishnu tattva, to be not a jiva tattva. So Prabhupada quotes from uh, uh, the Pramaya Ratnavali, where it is said that Lakshmi Devi is the mother of all creation. As Lord Vishnu is all pervading, her special potency, Mother Lakshmi, is all pervading. Lord Vishnu has three potencies: internal, external, and marginal. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has accepted Parashakti, the spiritual energy of the Lord, as being identical with the Lord. Thus, she is also included in the independent Vishnu Tattva. Right? And then he quotes other shlokas also. Ultimately, the way it is resolved is that so we know that Lord Vishnu has different kind of incarnations. So he has expansions. which are also Vishnu Tattvas. Like Krishna expanding to Balram, Balram expanding to Lord Vishnu, and different incarnations coming. So they're all in the category of Vishnu Tattvas. And when they are expanding, the consorts are expanding, they're also Vishnu Tattva. Then there is also incarnation that are Shakti Veshavatars, in which a jiva is empowered with a particular Shakti, like Parshuram, Rishabdev, Lord Buddha, Kalki. So they're all Shakti Veshavatars. So when in case of the Shakti Veshavatars, the consort are also jivas. So uh, the wives of these personalities, they're jivas which are also being empowered by Lakshmi Devi. So that's how both can be reconciled. That yes, in many cases they are jiva tattvas when their husbands are also jiva tattvas, but when their husbands are Vishnu tattva, they are also Vishnu tattva. Yeah. Next verse.
Text 14. You are both the supreme rulers and the benedictors of the free world. Therefore, my Lord Uttama Shloka, may my ambition be fulfilled by your grace.
Next verse.
Sri Shukadev Goswami continue. Thus one should worship Lord Vishnu, who is known as Srinivas, along with Mother Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, by offering prayers according to the process mentioned above. After removing all the paraphernalia of worship, one should offer them water to wash their hand and mouth, and then should worship them again.
Next verse.
Thereafter, with devotion and humility, one should offer prayers to the Lord and Mother Lakshmi. Then one should smell the remnants of the food offered, and then again worship the Lord and Lakshmi ji.
Next verse.
Accepting her husband as a representative of the Supreme Person, a wife should worship him with unalloyed devotion by offering him prasad. The husband, being very pleased with his wife, should engage himself in the affair of his family.
So this is the nature of bhakti or devotional service, that it does not end at the altar, right? So uh, if you look at Hari Bhakti Vilas, there are 5 stages of bhakti. It begins with DT worship. Sorry, it begins with the process to purify one's own self, taking bath, then upadan, collecting all the paraphernalia, then yoga, which is meditating on the Lord, then ijya. Ijya is the actual deity worship, offering of the incense stick and the deep, etc. And then finally, there is the swadhyaya, the study of the scriptures, right? So it's not that deity worship is only constrained to when you're on the altar or in the deity room. So here we see that after you worship the deities on the altar, the Prabhupada says the family relationship of husband and wife should be established spiritually according to the process mentioned above. So it continues between the husband and the wife and the parents and the children. Next verse.
Text 18. Between the husband and wife, one person is sufficient to execute the distribution service. Because of their good relationship, both of them will enjoy the result. Therefore, if the wife is unable to execute this process, the husband should carefully do so, and the faithful wife will share the result.
So it talks about the equality of the husband and the wife in executing devotional service. Because in many karma kanda, there is no such concession that is given, right? That if the husband can't do it, it's not done. If the wife can't do it, cannot be done. But the nature of bhakti is that it benefits everybody. If the wife does it, The husband benefits. If the husband does it, the wife will benefit out of it, right? That's the nature of bhakti, that it benefits everybody regardless of the relative positions. Next verse, next two verses.
19 and 20. One should accept this Vishnu Vrata with a vow in devotional service, and one should not deviate from its execution to engage in anything else. By offering the remnant of prasad, flower, garland, sandalwood, pulp, and ornament, one should daily worship the Brahmanas and worship women who peacefully live with their husband and children. Every day, the wife must continue following the relative principle to worship Lord Vishnu with great devotion. Thereafter, Lord Vishnu should be laid in his bed, and then one should take prasad. In this way, husband and wife will be purified and will have all their desire fulfilled.
Next verse.
The chaste wife must perform such devotional service continuously for 1 year. After 1 year passes, she should fast on the full moon day on the month of Kartik, October, November.
So Vishwanath Chakravarti notes that technically it is a little short of 1 year because the vow starts after the dark moon of the Margashira and it ends on the full moon of Kartik. So he says that it is not a full year, but it is 2 weeks short. Or if the year has the Purushottam Mas, Adhik Mas in it, then it will be 2 weeks over the 1 year. But uh, uh, in the general approximation, it is considered to be a 1 year vrata. Next verse.
Text 22. On the morning of the next day, one should wash oneself, and after worshipping Lord Krishna as before, one should cook as one cooked for the festival as stated in the Grihad Sutra. Sweet rice should be cooked with ghee, and with this preparation, the husband should offer oblation to the fire 12 times.
Next verse.
Text 23. Thereafter, he should satisfy the Brahmanas. When the satisfied Brahmana bestow their blessings, he should devotedly offer them respectful obeisances with his head, and with their permission, he should take prasad.
Next verse.
24. Before taking his meal, the husband must first sit the acharya comfortably and along with his relative and friend should control his speech and offer prasad to the guru. Then the wife should eat the remnant of the oblation of sweet rice cooked with ghee. Eating the remnant ensure a learned, devoted son and all good fortune.
So this is the end of the process for the Purushavan Vrata. The next set of verses are the Falstuti, the next three verses.
Text 25. If this vow or shastic ceremony is observed according to the description of Shastra, even in this life, even in this life, a man will be able to achieve all the benediction he desires from the Lord. A wife who performs this ritualistic ceremony will surely receive good fortune, opulence, son, a long-living husband, a good reputation, and a good home.
So Prabhupada says that by performing this particular type of vrata, a man and a woman in Krishna consciousness will be happy in this material world, and because of being Krishna conscious, they will be promoted to the spiritual world. Right. So these are the kind of vratas that are akama sarvakama, we mean, right? So they take care of your material as well as spiritual desires. The reason this is put in over here is to address the needs of those devotees who are still not expunged of their material desires. And so This specifically over here is for parents who desire uh, a son or a healthy child, right? And Prabhupada notes that the wife gets that and much more. He says that if when a wife gets a long-lived husband, that's a sign of that she has good fortune. When she gets sons, that is a sign of good fortune. Now they're all material, but then he says not just that, they will be promoted to the spiritual world. Next verse, next three verses actually.
Yeah, 26 to 28. If an unmarried girl observes this vrata, she will be able to get a very good husband. If a woman who is avira, who has no husband or son, execute this ritualistic ceremony, she can be promoted to the spiritual world. A woman whose children have died after birth can get rid, can get a child with a long duration of life and also become very fortunate in the possessing wealth. If a woman is unfortunate, she will become fortunate. If ugly, she will become beautiful. By observing this vrata, a diseased man can gain relief from his disease and have an able body with which to work. If one recites this narration while offering oblation to the pitas and demigod, especially during Shraddha ceremony, the demigod and the inhabitant of the Pritaloka will be extremely pleased with him and bestow upon him the fulfillment of all desires. After one performed this ritualistic ceremony, Lord Vishnu and his wife, Mahalakshmi, the goddess of fortune, are very pleased with him. O King Parikshit, now I have completely described how Diti performed this ceremony and had good children, Zamarut, and a happy life. I have tried to explain this to you as elaborately as possible.
So this is the end of the description of the Pumshavan Vrata. It's the end of the sixth canto and the end of the Bhakti Vaibhav. Also, we covered the six cantos over there. From the seventh canto, pure devotional service appears. Right. So in the sixth canto, the holy name appeared. Right, with Ajamel pastime, and from the seventh canto. Shuddha Bhakti appears with the conversation between Narad Muni and Maharaj Yudhishthir. So anyway, with this we end our discussion on this. Um, Maybe what Prem Kishore, I'm looking at you to see. Maybe we can meet once more when everybody is there. I know Ramkatha is traveling to India right now. Varshana says she's traveling. So maybe we can meet once when everybody is there, just to kind of formally close the course off.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so we'll end here. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णविंद की जय। शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। थाई गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरे कृष्ण। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय।
Happy New Year if we don't meet also.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare